Hey, this is a quick overview of JSON. So JSON is a data structure which is commonly used on web servers for API calls and a whole wide range of things. And it stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and some people call it JSON. So you might have heard of it as JSON, but it's a really easy structure to understand. In JSON, objects have these curly brackets around it, and it's always a key value pair. So key is kind of like a field name. So for this example, we're going to use cars. So I'm going to say make. So that is the key, and the value is separated by a colon, and we can put the value in, and I'll call it a sedan just to keep it generic. So this is the key in blue, and this is the value in this orangish color. And we can keep adding more key value pairs. So we have the make. Let's say we want to put the year in. I'll do comma. And also I'm in VS Code. That's why I have all the highlighting and stuff. It just makes it easier to work with JSON. I want to add in the year. So I'll do year, comma. And then in here you can see this was a string, which is indicated by the double quotes. To put a number or an integer in, we can just type it in. So I'll say 2022. And that's an integer. So now we know key value pairs as well as strings and integers. And we can keep adding these key value pairs. So if we wanted to add in color, and we'll put in blue, which is another string, we can do that. And let's say we want to add a list of features that this sedan comes with. That's where the next kind of type of value comes in. And we'll say features, I think that's spelled right, colon, and the next type of value is going to be a list or an array, and we define that using square brackets. So inside of a square bracket, similar to these examples, we're going to put in values, except the square brackets is going to be an array. So here we'll start off with putting air conditioning as our first feature, and we just separate it by commas. So we can say the second feature, sunroof, and then we can put in another feature like GPS. So this is also a key value pair, except it just so happens that this value is multi-valued. We have a list of values instead of just one single value. And the last kind of basic value I want to show you is the null character or the null value. So if we type in previous owner, oh, I missed the double quotes. Put that back in. Previous owner, and if we want to set this to null, instead of doing a string of null, we can just put the value of null. So now we know a string, we know an integer, we know a list, and we also know how to set a key to null. And let's say now we want to keep track of more cars. So we don't just want an object with one car in it, we want a list of cars. So to do that, what we can do is we can just cut this, so copy that into our clipboard. We'll start a new object, and in this new object, we'll start with a key called cars in double quotes. We'll do colon, and pretty much in here, we're going to start. So now we have a key called cars. We can make that an array for the values. And inside of the array, we'll just paste in that first car we created. So now we have a key called cars that has a value that's an array. And the first item inside that array is an object that contains all the information about that first car that we created. From here, if we want to add more cars in, we just add a comma in after that initial car, and we can put in the next object. So now the cars key is an array with one item here and a second item here. So now you can kind of start to see this nested structure that JSON can have. So we have cars there, and we can keep going from here. Maybe we can make another list here of, maybe this one is owners. And then inside of owners, we can have the first object, which could be name, and then John D, and then keep going down from here. So that is the general structure of JSON. You get the gist of the kind of basic values that can exist, as well as the arrays, null values, and then the high level structure that JSON comes in. A couple useful tips: you can use the JSON formatter in VS Code, as well as get syntax highlighting when you're using VS Code with the .json extension. This makes it easier to work with JSON. There are online linters, so let's say you accidentally forgot a comma if you're manually working with it. VS Code will give you a little call out saying, "Hey, check this," right? Like we have an issue here, and we can fix it. You can use online linters to help with that. But just be careful. Just make sure that the site's not, you're not putting sensitive data in there, and the site's taking it and logging that information. But hopefully that helped. If you have any questions about JSON, just leave it in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.